Before we start today's episode, we thought it was important to take a step back to reflect on the gravity of what is currently going on in the world. Although this video is focused on our isolation and it was actually filmed over a week ago before the tragic killing of George Floyd, it didn't feel right to just go right on into it without acknowledging what's going on.
Yes, we live in the city of St. Louis, and over the last few days we have seen a lot of things. Some of it has been extremely tragic, but there has been a lot of good things that we have seen as well. So we encourage everyone out there to keep an open mind, keep your ears open and listen to what others have to say, and just be respectful, and hopefully we can all learn from this.
Yeah, I think listening and learning are two things that everyone should be doing right now. We don't have the answers, but we just have to, I do know that we all just have to keep trying together, and that's the only way that we're gonna get through all this and make change in the world. And I think Brian said it best in a post that he recently made. He said, "My only hope is that we make today better. If we can't do that, then we try again tomorrow."
Welcome to Krocks in the Kitchen.
I'm Jessica.
And I am Brian.
Or should we call this Krocks Stuck in the Kitchen?
Yes, this is our isolation update, what we have learned about each other.
What we've been doing.
What we've been doing, yes.
All kinds of stuff.
I can tell you, before we get to actual questions that Jessica has written out apparently, and I don't know what they are, just wanted to give you guys a little update about what's been going on with us. One, yes, we are still working. We are still working from home. We are both employed, so that is an absolute blessing to the both of us that we've been able to continue doing that. We are healthy. We are happy. We are safe. We are adhering to what everybody is saying that we should do. You know, not going out, really social distancing when we are going out, making sure our hands are clean and we're not just randomly touching objects and then our faces, which is very difficult. But everything is cruising along very nicely for us, and so
we're definitely very fortunate that everything has been. We haven't really had like any, you know, family members with any major issues going on in all this. We've been really lucky. So we realize that there's a lot of people out there who this has just been an awful time for. And we are definitely, you know, really lucky that it hasn't been for us.
Yeah, we're fortunate that we don't know anybody who has actually gotten sick, so that's awesome, and we're very happy for that. But we do know people who have lost jobs or have been furloughed or something along those lines, and so those people are always in our thoughts and prayers, and we're really hoping that, you know, we can get everything up and running here eventually and get everybody back to work, but get everyone back to work safely.
So I wanted to start out before we get to the questions.
Yes.
So I wrote some questions, but I thought it would be fun if, like, at least Brian didn't know some of the questions, just for fun, just to see what his first like reaction is to it.
It's usually the best reaction.
So before we do that, I know we've talked about this on some other videos, but since this is a channel about mostly our weight loss adventure, our whole food plant-based lifestyle, I wanted to start out and just kind of rehash, I know, again, we've talked about it before, how we've been doing sticking to our diet while in isolation, quarantine, whatever you want to call it. And I know a lot of people have been talking about like the quarantine 15 or the COVID-19 like pounds. Like,
oh wow.
Yeah, I heard that one too. 19 is really going for the achievement there. And you know, putting on extra weight, having trouble sticking to their diet. And again, we are really lucky that we have all these things going for us right now. We have, you know, we're not like super stressed out with all of this like out, you know, other stuff. We're just kind of stuck in our apartment. So we're going stir crazy, but we're not so stressed out with like losing jobs and stuff like that. And honestly, that's probably helped us keep on track. But the other thing that's helped is just that we're stuck in here. So we can't be out in the world. And a lot of the problems that I was having getting off track were, you know, things that I would get when I was out. And we don't bring like any bad food into the house, generally speaking. And so that's just, you know, and we're not like ordering out. I actually would love to be like supporting some local businesses right now. But we don't ever eat at restaurants to begin with anyway. We have been supporting businesses in other ways other than just like food, you know, whatever related. But like our produce delivery company has been awesome that we've been using that's local. But anyway, off the rails. But we haven't eaten anything that we haven't cooked since isolation started. Yeah. Which was March 14th technically would be like the first day. March 13th, I think, was our last day that we were at our jobs, like in offices. And then we started, so it's been over 2 months now. Yeah. So we have cooked every single thing that we've eaten. We have both lost a lot of weight during this time. Yes. I'm back to like my lowest point that I've been at in my adult life right now. You are definitely at your lowest point. I'm getting lower.
And also, as you guys might remember, if you've seen the previous episodes,
yes,
we are currently in our challenge right now to lose 10 pounds by June 22nd.
Yes.
And I'm not going to give you an update on that because you're going to have to wait for that episode.
It's only like a couple days in, but we're doing pretty well. Anyway, but the thing is too, you think about, so I saw this, I keep thinking about it. I saw this Instagram live between two couples, and one of the couples had kids and one didn't. And the one that didn't have kids, they were like, this is great. You know, we're stuck inside. We can watch Netflix. We can do whatever, like da 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 da. And then the ones with kids were just like, we're trapped in here with kids that like can't, and the kids don't understand like that they can't just do their normal things. Yeah. And so anybody who's going through this with children in the house, I commend you immensely. Everybody who's been helping their kids through school, this like in this weird end of the school year, and like I think about all the kids who are like graduating this year from college or from, you know, whether it be from 5th grade and going to middle school or from college and all that, how weird this has been and how all the parents out there have been helping their kids. And so we don't have kids, so we're just like us sitting here. So yeah, we do realize that that's another reason we've been able to stick to our diet.
Yep.
If we had kids running around and we had to deal with all that,
it'd be crazy.
Woo! Anyway.
Yep, but we should probably get to those questions,
let's get to
Jessica.
the questions. But I just wanted to give that little update because that's kind of like the update on how we're doing.
Yeah.
Okay, so these are some kind of interesting questions.
I'm not going to look at the page.
Okay. Because I feel like this time has kind of definitely changed us, definitely made us think a lot about ourselves, each other. We've had so many like intense conversations. So I wanted to ask some questions that kind of will bring some of that out. So the first one actually comes from Instagram. So if you remember our Q&A video that we did a Q&A video where we asked Instagram followers to ask us questions. We didn't get to all the questions in that video, so we did a podcast on Brian's podcast, I'm Losing It. So we'll link to both that Q&A and the podcast. The podcast, we answered a bunch more questions, and it was like a casual, nice little podcast where we were just like sitting on the couch.
It was great.
It's kind of a more casual version of ourselves. I don't know why when it's like just audio, there's something that I feel like people are going to hear us like argue more on the podcast.
We definitely have more natural conversations on there, you know, because we're not trying to like get to a point, and honestly, I'm not trying to rush her along to get to questions.
Hey, okay. So the first question actually came from that Q&A was my point.
Yes.
Because
long roundabout point.
Because somebody asked this and I thought it was a great question, and that kind of inspired this whole video. So it was, what is one new thing that you've learned about each other during isolation?
One new thing that I've learned about you during isolation. Well, the first thing is Jessica talks to Peef a lot more than I thought she did.
That is not true. He is making this up. What are you talking about? Me and Peef never talk. I mean, I know Peef. I'm trying to be normal.
No, for real though, something that I've learned about her is just the ongoing thing of like this process that she's been going through. Dealing with anxiety and like that kind of stuff, and she's definitely learned some more tools to cope with how she reacts to things and the like. But let me just tell you a difference between like say even a year ago and this year. A couple weeks ago, I made a mess right behind me. I dropped something from the cabinet and it spilled everywhere. And Jessica calmly walked over and helped me clean it up and didn't say anything to me about it. A year before that, she would have been screaming her head off at me, telling me all sorts of bad things about myself, and cleaning up the process in a very long, drawn out way because she would have been yelling and mad the whole time. That right there should tell you completely differently how much of a change that she's had when it comes to dealing with her anxiety and fear and anger and like all that kind of stuff. And I'm not saying she's an angry person. I'm just saying that like when that thing would trigger, like it's just, it breaks loose and there's no stopping it. You just have to ride it out at that point.
Yeah, I think that, like I said in my anxiety video that we did a few weeks ago, or was that just last week? I don't know. Does time exist anymore? I don't know. What does this white thing square mean? That's what Brian put on the calendar.
Yep.
But I said that when I had anxiety, which I still have anxiety, let's be honest. I mean, it's never going to like go away 100%. But when I was battling it at my worst point, it made me really bitter and angry and all that. And so it's such a just wonderful moment for me now when something like that happens and I'm able to control myself and really, be the person I want to be and that I feel like I am, rather than having the anxiety burden me and make me like super angry and just whatever. So, yeah.
So what have you learned about me, though?
Okay, so what I have learned about you, actually, it's kind of a personal thing, so I'm not going to go into too much detail, but honestly, I think the thing that I've learned a little bit more about is just like your like faith and like spirituality.
Yeah, we've had a lot of conversations about
We've
that.
had some like deep conversations about it, which is not something that we really talk about a lot, because I know like it's a whole thing, but like, yes, Brian goes to church and he does his whole thing and he's very spiritual guy. But his faith is very personal. He doesn't project it on other people. He's not trying to make anyone else believe or, act or do a certain thing. It's just all about his personal thing. And so, believe it or not, we don't really talk about it a lot. And yet we are like super close. Like, we talk about everything, but I feel like that's kind of one thing that we really hadn't talked about a lot. And, a few other conversations I was having with like other people and stuff like that kind of triggered me to talk to Brian about it. And it really just, he like opened up to me about some things that I never knew before. And that was kind of a just crazy moment for me, because we've been together for like 13 years and you think that there's nothing new you can learn, but being stuck in this house together or this apartment together, that kind of stuff has come out. So
yeah.
Anyway.
All right. Next question.
Okay. What have you learned about yourself during this time?
I think that I've learned that we can get along extremely well over long periods of time around each other.
Yeah.
But that's more so
that's
about
us, not really yourself.
But about me, that I've always tried to be a creative person, and I've always tried to do the thing of writing music or playing or something like that. And I think that this time around, because I have the time to kind of bounce between things, I've learned that my understanding of my own musicality has definitely been wrong. Like, I always kind of figured that I was sort of a certain way when it comes to playing guitar, or a certain way when it comes to being a drummer or whatever it happens to, or even a singer. And I've learned that I'm better than what I thought I was. Does that make any sense?
Yeah.
Like, somebody challenged me to learn a song, and I'm not really a guitar player at all. And I literally went on YouTube, found a video of a guy teaching how to play the song on acoustic guitar. I learned the song inside of an hour, and then I recorded it, and eventually, like in the following week or whatever. And that was the first video I posted to the music channel that I have. And so it's something like that. And then from there, I immediately went out and started learning a bunch of other songs that I never thought I would learn, because I always thought they were a bit too complicated for my guitar playing style. Apparently they're not, and I learned them quite quickly.
Yeah, I think that's a good one. I think that's been like, I've really loved seeing you get back to your music and get the guitar out and just write songs and learn learn cover songs, just all of that. And I think that too also goes along with kind of learning more about your faith and spirituality, because what I have learned, so far has always been through your music, but you really haven't been doing a lot of that in the last few years. So it's been nice for that to come out.
All right. What have you learned about yourself?
So what I've learned about myself, I think it's just that my future has more possibilities than I could ever imagine. And I just feel like I can do so many things in the future that I've just had so much time during these few months to... Are you reading the questions?
No, actually I wasn't.
You were staring at Peace.
I wasn't. I was literally just staring down, listening to you listening to you talk.
So I'm just giving you trouble. I feel like I have had a lot of time to do a lot of like introspective reflection on myself, and so things that I thought I would never like want to do or would be possible for me, I feel like maybe are. And so and through a lot of conversations I've had, I've actually made a few really good friends that I've been talking to a lot during this time, and that has honestly taught me a lot about myself, because I've learned about them and how they are doing their thing and like more about their lives, and kind of reflected that back onto me, like, oh, what kind of possibilities, like if they can do this, or like they've done these things, like can I do these things, or can I, is that a possibility for me? I know this all sounds really mysterious, but it's just like I think before I just thought, okay, this is my life and this is what I'm doing and that's it. And now I feel like there's a whole new world open for me. Does that make any sense? Yeah. There's a lot of honking going on.
There's a ton of cars downtown for some reason. They seem to be drag racing or something going on right now.
It's Tuesday night.
Like what in the world is going on? All right.
Okay.
Next question.
What do you miss the most? Like, since we've been stuck in here for the most part, what do you miss about the outside world, I guess?
Family right now. I've been missing my family quite a bit. I went from seeing them every week to now not seeing them at all in many, many weeks. For a couple weeks there, my church wasn't having the band come in. They were playing old recordings of the stuff going on there. And so I certainly missed my church family as well, at least the band members and stuff, and I mean a bunch of other people too. But that's the one thing so far that I've really missed, is just other people. But me, I'm a social person, so it's kind of strange that I can go this long. But then again, I'm not even like, I'm still seeing people. I'm just seeing them online as opposed to seeing them in person. And I still talk to like all my gamer friends at night. And if you guys are watching this, hey, I'll be jumping on in a little bit.
Maybe.
Oh no, I'm jumping on tonight.
Depends on how many videos I make you film today. So for me, what I miss is, well, concerts, obviously.
Oh yeah.
I mean, I was thinking about the last concert I went to was Richard Marx on what was it, back on like February 12th or something crazy like that. So it was a long time ago. For me, I mean, I go to so many concerts, it's like ridiculous. So I definitely miss that. And like, I know they've been doing all the live from home, like Instagram, all that kind of stuff, but and those are really cool, but they're also a lot because there's too many of them to keep track of. And so you're like, oh crap, I have to watch this, like we'll be like doing dinner and I'm like, oh my gosh, like this band's coming on at 7, we got to watch them. So it's a lot to keep up with, but that experience of being at a concert, there's nothing that really compares to me. But the other thing I really miss is just going to a grocery store. I love grocery shopping. Going to a grocery store and just it being normal. Like not being paranoid. Like I feel like I go now and I don't go very much. I go maybe once every 2 weeks or something right now, if I have to. But it's like putting on the mask, putting on the, doing all the stuff, wiping everything down, making sure that you're not like going the wrong way down a one-way aisle if as some of them have set up, or just like trying to avoid people. And it's just like it's such a stressful experience right now, and I really love doing it normally, and so I miss just that being normal. But yeah. Next. Yes, the next one is, where is the first place that you want to travel when things get back to normal? And then I have in parentheses, well, as normal as they can be.
So you guys know we love to travel. That is certainly something that we have always enjoyed doing. We love going on road trips and stuff like that. And I was actually thinking about this. One of our favorite channels is The Endless Adventure. I don't know how those guys are actually coping because they travel all over the world and now they're stuck in St. Louis like for the last couple of months. And it's just like, wow, you guys must be going absolutely insane.
They
I hope
seem to be having fun.
I hope they see this though and get a little chuckle out of it.
They seem to be having fun with it though. Like they're making the best of it.
But we kind of both like today or yesterday, I don't remember, but it was today. But we were both like, you know, I really want to go on a road trip. And I was like, absolutely, I agree. And I don't even know where. I mean, like we were talking about the possibility of going somewhere south or something, maybe Nashville or Louisville, because we do like Louisville.
I want to go to like North Dakota. I want to go
we want to go away from
people.
And then she's like, maybe Montana. I was like, well, I've never been to Montana.
Wyoming,
so
Montana,
they opened up part of Yellowstone, so I guess we could go there.
Yeah.
But like, yeah, definitely there's a bunch of different places we would love to travel to.
I miss traveling.
But the weird one though, I've really weirdly been wanting to go back to England.
Yeah.
It's like I feel like this just call to like head back there, and I don't really know why.
I want to go there and live there for like 2 or 3 months.
Yeah, like honestly, I would probably
so
do that. That would be fantastic.
Yeah, for me, I think it's about the same as what you said. I will say I do have this fall, so I have 2 trips that are definitely like I'm planning, and it's a fall road trip where we go visit. I think we've talked about it before on a live or something. We go visit like a bunch of our whole food plant-based friends.
Yes.
And that will push us out like basically east, and then south, and then back home. And then the other one is the trip to England, which we do have planned for July 2021. So I'm really hoping that like everything plays in, gets into play, that like we can do those 2 trips. That's really what I'm hoping. So
yeah, definitely the big road trip, and then of course next year to England again, of which I'd like to make that even a bigger trip than just going to England. So it'd be fantastic.
Okay,
maybe hit up Ireland, go to Germany.
So what do you not miss about
what do I not
normal
miss?
Life?
Driving, commute to work. Honestly, I don't miss that at all. I mean, like, I liked it because then I could listen to all my audiobooks and stuff like that. But yeah, I don't miss that.
But you gotta miss being at the office though.
I do miss being at the office.
Thrive in that like environment with all your office-y people.
Yeah. Well,
You're social.
My lunatics that I work with.
He's a social guy. So for me, one thing I don't miss is just like going out into the world, because my ideal like life is just to be inside and not go out and like be the most introverted hermit that I could ever possibly be. Like that's my ideal life. So honestly, this is just like this was made for me. So I really don't miss. I mean, there's things that I do miss, and like you had mentioned your family earlier. The interesting for me,
you don't miss your family?
No, the interesting thing for me is with my family, I feel like at least with like I know with my especially with my one brother Nick, we've been like chatting online more often and stuff like that, and so I feel like closer in a lot of ways to him than I do in like, I don't know, I feel like this has made us, even the other day, like me and both of my brothers did, this is a while back, but we did like an online video game, I don't know, what do you call it, on the Switch. We did like the online
they were
Nintendo
playing online on Switch
thing, and like I've never done that with them, and so like it's sad that it took this for us to like do that stuff, but I feel like I've actually gotten, because I'm stuck at home and I have more time, I've gotten closer with some of my family members. But anyway, okay, what habit have you started or broken during isolation?
What habit have I broken?
Started or broken. I know one habit that you started.
What habit have I started?
The walking thing.
Oh yes, I've started walking quite a bit more, just because I mean I'm here and I need to get out and actually do something. I was planning on starting walking more though, even before all of this happened. I was just waiting for the weather to get a little bit nicer so I could go walking like during my lunch break or something like that. But now, we're stuck at home, so might as well just go out for walks. And we've been walking a lot down by the Arch grounds, and I want to go and like walk Forest Park. But honestly, the one I really want to go do is just go up to Alton, Illinois, and go on a nice little drive, and then go on a walk on the River Road. And
the interesting thing about
through the city
walking is we've been doing some walks where we don't take the dogs, because one of our dogs has like a hurt paw right now, and she's really not supposed to be walking long distances.
Yeah.
And then the other one has like a slip disc issue, and he's got like his whole thing going on too. So I took them both on a walk this morning.
Yeah.
And I carried Scout because she's the one having the issues with her paw. I carried her most of the time. And then of course Oliver started being like, oh, I want to be carried too. So here I am carrying like 20 something pounds worth of dogs, and I'm just like, what is happening right now? But I never walk. I always feel bad walking without the dogs because I feel like if I'm out there walking, like I should take the dogs with me. So now I have made it a priority to do like both and separately though, because I think there is something about walking just by yourself without having a dog, or because let's be honest, me walking with a dog is me on anxiety edge. Like, are they going to eat, the smallest tiny little thing off the ground? Like, I'm constantly like monitoring them. I'm not very like leisurely about it at all. I'm like, are they going to eat this? We're in a city. So it's like, are they going to step in something? Are they going to, whatever.
Yeah. Yeah.
So yeah, the walking, I think the habit of actually for me is just walking by myself. I mean, with you, but like even we'll go our separate ways, and we have our separate music going, and but we're together, but we're like doing our own thing. That's been a really cool like habit. But for me, let's see, a habit started or broken. I mean, another habit you started is just the music thing, is just playing music.
Just playing music on a regular basis. Yeah.
I think for me, it's just like talking to people. Like I've been just talking to
You have been
friends,
super chatty with a lot of
friends
people.
online, and making some good friends, which is something that I don't do very easily. So if I like, if I take the time to like become somebody's friend, it's like a big freaking deal for me.
I will say she talks to a bunch of different people,
Yes.
men and women alike, but I will say that I do jokingly refer to the men as her boyfriends.
Oh,
but...
come on. Give me a break. You're funny.
Hey, if I knew that she wasn't completely and totally attached to me, I might be jealous. But we're stuck together, literally, right now in the apartment.
Oh my gosh.
But no, this is it. We're together. There ain't no change in that.
All right. So let's see. I don't know if we've broken any habits. I mean, our sleeping habits are totally broken.
Oh yeah, that's gone.
That's out the window. So maybe that.
I think I went to bed at like 3 a.m. last night.
Anyway,
And even then, I stayed up past that because I was watching Netflix in bed.
I can only sleep for like 2 or 3 hours. Then I wake up and I'm like, I must be productive and everything must get done. And then I'll like crash again and then sleep for another 2 or 3 hours. It's pretty bad.
I sleep pretty solidly. It's just that my shift in time has changed quite a bit. So
okay, last
Final
question. How do you think this time has changed you?
Ooh, well, I definitely think it's changed me for the better because it's allowed me to focus more on like being stricter with the diet. So I make sure that I'm not like overeating certain things or, whatever. I'm making sure that I'm getting the nutrition that I need, getting more exercise, playing more music, just all that. I mean, like really that's the thing that's changed for me is just the fact that I now had the time to really focus on myself and change some things that I was really wanting to change, and then get better at things that I was really hoping to get better at. Straightforward.
I think for me, it's just changed like my perspective on everything because it's like
my entire world has changed.
No, I feel like a different person than I was 2 months ago.
You are a different person.
I mean, I feel like a different person than I was a year ago, and I already was before we started the quarantine just because of all the stuff I've done to work on my mental health in the last year. But now the last 2 months of this and having this time to really have time for myself and really reflect and just have moments to just, be and exist and not like, be just running around like crazy all the time, which is my normal life.
Yeah.
It just has given me a new perspective, and also it's given me a perspective on like taking things for granted. Like there's so many little things that you take for granted that now you can't do, that you realize like, oh, wow, I should not take those things for granted. But I don't know. I think it's just, I also have this thing in my head where I often like, I think about things a lot. A lot. And I think about people a lot and like their situation and what they may be, like my empathy level sometimes is like too much to the point where it drives me insane. But I just feel like this is a time where I've been able to really reach out to people, and maybe it's just, a sentence here or there. Like I'll be like, hey, I was thinking about this, and maybe it's something small or maybe it's something really big and deep and whatever, but it's just when you get those things in your mind that you think like someone might need to hear, just say them to them. I mean, unless they're mean things, then don't do it because that's just mean. But
yeah, don't be mean.
But don't like. I think I've just learned, don't, you know, hide those thoughts that you have, because odds are like those people probably really do need to hear those things. And so I think it's changed me in that way of like having that just perspective on, oh, okay, like maybe these weird, crazy thoughts I have in my head or about other people or other things, maybe they could help those people. And even it's translated to the channel too, and like doing the anxiety video and stuff like that. It's like getting out of my little shell and making myself more vulnerable. I love the thing I love. I'll link to this video below. So Harry Styles, which I was never a One Direction fan, let's be honest. Like One Direction, I'm not a boy band kind of girl.
You aren't.
But Harry Styles, his solo music is freaking amazing. Even Brian will admit this.
I admit that freely.
He's a music snob.
Yes, I am a music snob.
But he did an interview, I think with Zane Lowe, and he said that basically, you know, vulnerability is what like friendships are built on. And so if you really want to like develop a good friendship with somebody, just, you know, like start, like be vulnerable and like, you know, say stuff, you know, let yourself be in that moment. Because that's just like, that's what a true friendship is built on. And so I really, really took that to heart, and that kind of changed me as well. But anyway, yes.
Well, I'd say that's good. I'd say that's probably a good stopping point as well. So please subscribe to the channel if you haven't done so. Just click the subscribe button and the bell that is right next to it so you get notified whenever we post a new video. Also, you can find us on Facebook and Instagram. Please message us on there if you want to, and we will gladly get back to you. And because we love interacting with you guys. You guys are fantastic and amazing. Tell us how things are going in your world, and during isolation, how things are going for you.
That's what Peef wanted to say. He was going to say to comment below and tell us how you are doing and how you are feeling and what you've learned about yourself and all those good things.
Also, give us a good little like there if you like the video, or you can thumbs down it if you want to. That's fine. If you hate us too. I know there's like 8 of you out there that do
there's
everything.
more now. We usually get like 18.
Yeah, we always get the thumbs down, but it's going to happen no matter what.
My anxiety video the other day was up to like 18 dislikes, and I was just like, but I'm like pouring my heart and soul out. If you don't like that, then that's fine. It's fine. It's fine.
Also, share the video out if you want to as well. I know these longer ones a little bit harder to share out to people, but you know, maybe you want to do that anyway. Either way, I think that's all I got.
That's definitely all I got.
We will see you next time on Krocks in the Kitchen. Bye.